Welcome to Philosophy Playground, where we dive deep into the philosophies that shape our lives and explore how they resonate in today's world. Today, we're embarking on a journey into the disciplined, thought-provoking, and revolutionary mind of Immanuel Kant. Imagine waking up every day at exactly the same time, following a rigid routine down to the minute. And yet, from this seemingly mundane existence, creating philosophical ideas so powerful that they continue to influence the very fabric of modern ethics, politics, and society. But what can a man who lived centuries ago teach us about our fast-paced, technology-driven lives? More than you might think. Kant's ideas about discipline, ethics, self-improvement, and how we treat one another are as relevant today as they were in his time. In this video, we'll explore the secrets behind Kant's legendary routine, the profound impact of his moral philosophy, especially his categorical imperative, and what it means to live a disciplined and purposeful life in the 21st century. From the success habits of CEOs like Tim Cook to the ethical challenges faced by political leaders around the globe, Kant's teachings offer timeless lessons. We'll also uncover how his philosophy applies to everyday struggles, from addiction and escapism to building genuine relationships rooted in respect and consent. If you're ready to unlock the wisdom of one of history's greatest minds and transform your own approach to life, stay tuned. This is an exploration that promises to challenge your perceptions, inspire change, and leave you thinking long after it ends. Immanuel Kant's life was a testament to the power of discipline and routine, elements that many of us often dismiss or criticize for their perceived dullness. Kant's daily schedule was rigorous, waking up precisely at 5 a.m., writing for 3 hours, teaching for another 4, and maintaining a fixed afternoon walk through the same path every day. His neighbors even used his punctual walks to set their clocks, despite what many would label as a mechanical existence. Kant's approach to life exemplified a disciplined structure that maximized intellectual and creative productivity, enabling him to develop groundbreaking philosophical insights that continue to shape modern thought. For many, the idea of living this regimented lifestyle seems stifling. We often view routines as constraints on our freedom and creativity. However, Kant's disciplined life reveals a counterintuitive truth. Repetition and structure can serve as a vehicle for deep, focused thought. Kant's meticulous schedule was not about limiting his potential but about maximizing his ability to think, reflect, and produce work that continues to resonate centuries later. His ideas have deeply influenced areas ranging from moral philosophy to political theory. Consider a modern example of disciplined success: Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. Cook is known for waking up at 4 a.m. to begin work, often responding to hundreds of emails before dawn. His structured routine and relentless focus on productivity reflect a modern echo of Kant's disciplined life. For both Kant and Cook, discipline became a tool that allowed them to channel their energies towards meaningful pursuits. The value of discipline extends beyond personal productivity. It plays a role in shaping legacies. Kant's influence extends far beyond his lifetime precisely because he was willing to sacrifice the allure of spontaneous distractions for a deeply focused life. While some may argue that living by a strict schedule limits one's experiences, Kant would counter that such dedication is necessary to fully actualize one's potential. His work, rooted in rigorous analysis, ultimately led to influential ideas such as the categorical imperative, a concept that continues to challenge and inspire debates in ethics. The key lesson from Kant's life is not that we must all adhere to rigid routines, but that discipline, when embraced with intention, can unlock extraordinary possibilities. By eliminating distractions and focusing our energies on what matters most, we can achieve depth in our pursuits. As seen in Kant's life, discipline provided the structure within which creativity and influence could flourish. Immanuel Kant's ethical philosophy centers on the notion of a categorical imperative, a universal law that dictates moral behavior without exception. Unlike ethical theories that allow for situational morality, Kant believed that certain principles must apply to everyone, everywhere, at all times. One of his most profound teachings is the idea that human beings must always be treated as ends in themselves. never merely as means to an end. This simple yet powerful idea lays the foundation for ethical behavior in every aspect of life, from individual choices to societal norms. To illustrate this point, consider the modern problem of social media overuse. Suppose you find yourself scrolling through social media for hours, avoiding work and responsibilities. According to Kant's philosophy, this behavior is more than a harmless time waster. It reflects a failure to respect yourself as a rational being. By succumbing to the dopamine-driven gratification of likes and posts, you reduce yourself to a tool for momentary pleasure. In Kantian terms, you are treating your consciousness, your ability to reason and make choices, as a mere means to achieve temporary gratification, rather than as an end in itself worthy of growth and improvement. This concept has broad implications in contemporary society. For example, consider Elon Musk, one of the world's most influential and ambitious figures. Musk often speaks about his commitment to the betterment of humanity, whether through the development of sustainable energy solutions at Tesla or the colonization of Mars through SpaceX. Musk's relentless pursuit of these goals, rooted in a vision larger than himself, aligns with Kant's view that we must strive to use our potential fully and ethically. In contrast, if Musk pursued his projects solely for personal gain or fame, without genuine consideration for their broader impact, Kant would argue that he is failing to treat himself and others involved as an end. Kant's categorical imperative also extends to how we interact with others. Manipulating or using people to achieve personal goals without regard for their dignity and autonomy is fundamentally unethical in Kant's eyes. This principle has significant relevance in today's world, where power dynamics can often lead to exploitation. Take, for example, corporate leaders who exploit workers by paying unfair wages or subjecting them to poor working conditions to maximize profits. Such actions violate Kant's principle because they treat employees merely as tools to increase wealth, rather than as human beings with inherent worth. This moral framework offers a powerful critique of many societal norms, particularly in business and politics. Consider a political leader who makes promises during a campaign with no intention of keeping them, purely to gain votes. This kind of behavior reduces citizens to a means to an end, power, rather than respecting them as individuals capable of making informed decisions. Kant's philosophy demands integrity and respect for others, even when it is inconvenient or costly. Kant's emphasis on universal moral laws may seem rigid, but it is precisely this rigidity that makes his philosophy so powerful. By establishing unbreakable ethical rules, Kant offers a guide to navigate complex moral dilemmas without resorting to subjective justifications. This principle is evident in issues such as lying. In Kant's view, lying is always wrong because it undermines trust and treats the person being lied to as a means to achieve a deceptive end. While some might argue that white lies are harmless, Kant would counter that even small lies erode the fabric of human relationships and the respect we owe to one another. This perspective can be applied to public figures who lie to protect their reputations. Take, for example, instances where corporate executives falsify information to cover up scandals. Not only do such actions harm the public, but they also reflect a fundamental lack of respect for human dignity. Kant's philosophy challenges us to uphold honesty and transparency, even when it is difficult. Let's further explore the concept with a practical example on self-improvement. Kant believed that failing to maximize our potential is itself unethical. This means that indulging in laziness or escapism is not merely a personal failing but a moral one. Think of athletes like Serena Williams, who dedicate themselves tirelessly to their craft. Williams' discipline and relentless pursuit of excellence demonstrate a commitment to treating herself as an end, using her talents and efforts to achieve greatness. This is precisely what Kant had in mind: a life devoted to growth, purpose, and the elevation of human potential. On the other hand, addiction serves as a powerful counterexample. When individuals use substances to escape reality, they undermine their own rationality and dignity. Kant argued that addiction is not only harmful to others, but a fundamental betrayal of oneself. By using substances as a means to dull pain or seek pleasure, individuals treat their own minds and bodies as tools, rather than ends worthy of respect and care. Kant's philosophy also extends to relationships and interpersonal dynamics. People-pleasing, for example, can appear ethical on the surface. It seems kind to make others happy. However, Kant would argue that if we change our behavior solely to gain approval, we are failing to respect both ourselves and those we seek to please. Such actions reduce us to manipulators of perception, rather than genuine participants in authentic relationships. Kant's insistence on acting from genuine respect, rather than seeking approval or manipulating outcomes, is a powerful reminder to prioritize integrity over expediency. In the realm of politics and global leadership, Kant's categorical imperative offers a clear moral compass. Consider leaders like Nelson Mandela, who worked tirelessly for racial equality and justice in South Africa. Mandela's actions were rooted in a deep respect for the dignity of every human being, even those who had oppressed him. This respect for humanity, regardless of the cost, exemplifies Kantian ethics. By treating every person as an end, Mandela transformed a nation and inspired the world. Contrast this with leaders who engage in coercive tactics or disregard human rights for political gain. Kant would argue that such behavior is deeply unethical, as it treats people merely as instruments to achieve power. True leadership, according to Kant, must be grounded in respect for the autonomy and dignity of every individual. Kant's philosophy is not without challenges. Applying universal moral principles to complex situations can lead to difficult dilemmas, such as choosing between two conflicting duties. However, the strength of Kant's approach lies in its unwavering commitment to human dignity. By refusing to compromise on this fundamental value, Kant provides a moral framework that demands accountability, integrity, and respect in every aspect of life. In conclusion, Kant's categorical imperative challenges us to live ethically, not just for ourselves but for the world around us. It calls on us to respect ourselves, others, and the principles that guide our actions. By treating each person as an end in themselves, we can build a society rooted in genuine respect, integrity, and compassion, whether through personal discipline, honest relationships, or ethical leadership. Kant's philosophy remains a powerful guide for living a life of purpose and respect. Immanuel Kant's ethical philosophy, particularly his view on addiction and escapism, offers a compelling critique of how individuals cope with life's challenges. Kant was not against enjoying life's pleasures. In fact, he was known to indulge in wine during meals and enjoyed a pipe of tobacco in moderation. However, he drew a firm line when it came to overindulgence and using substances or behaviors to escape from reality. For Kant, this kind of behavior was a misuse of human rationality, reducing oneself to a means of distraction rather than embracing one's potential as a conscious, rational being. To understand Kant's view, consider the issue of addiction in modern society. Addiction, whether to substances, technology, or even work, can serve as a temporary escape from pain, fear, or stress. However, from a Kantian perspective, using these forms of escape fundamentally undermines one's dignity and autonomy. The individual ceases to be the master of their own actions and becomes enslaved to a cycle of temporary gratification and long-term harm. Take, for example, the case of Hunter Biden, whose struggles with substance addiction became highly publicized. As the son of the U.S. president, Biden's journey highlights how addiction can impact even the most privileged individuals. Addiction did not discriminate based on his status or wealth. It stripped him of agency and respect, reducing him to a prisoner of his own impulses. It was only through confronting his addiction head-on, seeking treatment, and rebuilding his life that he could reclaim his autonomy. This process of facing reality, no matter how difficult, aligns with Kant's call to use rationality to address rather than evade life's challenges. Kant's moral stance on addiction goes beyond personal suffering. It emphasizes the moral imperative to respect oneself. When people engage in addictive behaviors to numb pain, they are, in essence, betraying their own humanity. This betrayal manifests not only in the harm they do to themselves, but also in the relationships and responsibilities they neglect. Addiction often leads to broken families, damaged careers, and societal harm, but Kant believed the greatest moral failure occurs at the individual level. By reducing oneself to a mere tool for temporary pleasure, one forfeits the duty to cultivate their full potential. Consider Steve Jobs, a visionary who transformed industries and impacted millions through innovation. While Jobs was known for intense focus and drive, he also acknowledged the temptation of distractions. Jobs understood the dangers of overindulgence, whether it be in substance abuse, work, or even technological escapism. His disciplined approach to creativity and mindfulness practices, such as meditation, reflected a commitment to confronting reality head-on. This allowed him to channel his energy into meaningful innovation. In contrast, someone who becomes consumed by addiction loses their ability to contribute meaningfully and often spirals into a cycle of self-destructive behavior. Kant's view extends beyond substance abuse to include any behavior that serves as a means to escape reality. This includes behaviors such as compulsive gaming, excessive social media use, and even binge-watching entertainment. While these activities might offer momentary relief, they become problematic when they dominate one's life to the extent that they prevent personal growth, meaningful relationships, and ethical engagement with the world. From a Kantian perspective, such behaviors are unethical because they lead individuals to treat themselves as tools for temporary pleasure rather than as ends with intrinsic worth and potential. The story of Robert Downey Jr., who famously battled drug addiction, serves as another powerful example. Downey's journey from the depths of addiction to becoming one of Hollywood's most successful and respected actors illustrates the Kantian principle of reclaiming self-respect and rationality. By confronting his addiction and making the difficult choice to seek help, Downey treated himself as an end worth saving. His transformation inspired millions and demonstrated that facing reality, no matter how painful, is the ethical path to self-improvement and true freedom. Kant's emphasis on facing reality and respecting oneself has implications for how society views addiction. Modern approaches to addiction often focus solely on the harm caused to others, such as family members, employers, or society at large. While these consequences are undoubtedly significant, Kant would argue that the primary moral issue lies within the individual's failure to respect themselves. Addiction represents a betrayal of one's rationality and the potential to make meaningful choices. Recovery, in this sense, is not just about repairing relationships or regaining status. It is about reclaiming one's dignity and agency. The same principle can be applied to workaholism, another form of escapism that society often glorifies. While hard work is valued, it becomes problematic when individuals use it to avoid dealing with personal issues or to seek validation at the expense of their well-being. This form of escapism reduces a person's identity to their productivity, treating themselves as a means to achieve external recognition rather than valuing themselves as a human being with intrinsic worth. Kant's philosophy challenges us to strike a balance, ensuring that our pursuits align with genuine self-respect and ethical engagement, not mere distraction or validation seeking. Escapism can take many forms, from substance use to digital addiction, but the underlying moral failure remains the same. It represents an abdication of our rational responsibility to confront life's difficulties. Kant's philosophy demands that we use our reason to engage with reality, face challenges, and strive for personal growth. By doing so, we honor our own humanity and create the conditions for a more ethical and fulfilling life. In essence, Kant's view on addiction and escapism serves as a reminder that true fulfillment comes not from avoiding life's hardships, but from confronting and overcoming them. It calls on us to respect ourselves as ends in themselves, capable of rational thought and meaningful action. By doing so, we can break free from cycles of self-destruction and live lives that reflect our highest potential. Immanuel Kant's philosophy on manipulation, deceit, and consent offers a profound ethical framework that remains deeply relevant today. Kant believed that every individual possesses inherent dignity and should never be treated solely as a means to another's end. When we manipulate or deceive others, we deny their ability to make informed, autonomous decisions. This principle of respect and genuine engagement has wide-ranging implications for personal relationships, business practices, politics, and social dynamics. To understand Kant's argument, consider the practice of manipulation in personal relationships. Suppose someone acts in a certain way solely to gain approval or affection from others, without expressing their true thoughts or feelings. While this may seem harmless or even kind on the surface, it ultimately undermines both parties. The individual engaging in the deceit sacrifices their authenticity, treating themselves as a tool for achieving external validation. Simultaneously, the person being manipulated is denied the opportunity to engage with a genuine individual and make informed decisions. According to Kant, this kind of behavior is unethical because it treats human relationships as a means to an end, seeking approval, control, or other self-serving goals, rather than a space for mutual respect and honesty. In the realm of politics, the dangers of manipulation and deceit are magnified. Leaders who manipulate public opinion through false promises, fear-mongering, or hidden agendas violate the trust placed in them by the people. Kant would argue that such behavior is deeply unethical because it reduces citizens to mere instruments for achieving political power. One modern example can be seen in cases where politicians use misinformation to sway public opinion or suppress dissent. Such acts not only undermine democratic institutions, but also strip individuals of their agency and ability to make informed decisions. Contrast this with figures like Nelson Mandela, who embodied Kantian principles through his commitment to truth, justice, and respect for all individuals. Mandela's leadership was characterized by transparency, dialogue, and a genuine desire to uplift his people. He did not manipulate or deceive to achieve his goals. Instead, he inspired through honesty, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to equality. This approach fostered trust, unity, and a lasting impact on South African society. Kant's emphasis on fully informed consent is another key component of his moral philosophy. True consent requires that individuals are fully aware of the choices they are making and are free from coercion or deceit. This principle is particularly relevant in discussions about sexual consent, where Kant's ideas offer a clear ethical framework. Any attempt to pressure, deceive, or manipulate someone into a sexual encounter violates their autonomy and dignity. Kant's insistence on informed consent extends beyond mere verbal agreements. It requires mutual respect and understanding. The implications of Kant's philosophy on consent go beyond interpersonal relationships. In the business world, ethical marketing practices hinge on honest communication and informed decision-making. Companies that use deceptive advertising, hidden fees, or exploitative tactics to manipulate consumers are engaging in unethical behavior. By treating customers as tools to maximize profit rather than individuals deserving of respect, such practices violate Kant's moral imperative. Ethical businesses, on the other hand, prioritize transparency, providing accurate information and respecting customer autonomy. This approach not only aligns with Kantian ethics, but also builds lasting trust and loyalty. Consider Apple under the leadership of Tim Cook. Apple's marketing emphasizes transparency and data privacy, positioning itself as a champion of user rights in an age where data exploitation is rampant. This commitment to privacy and respect for customer consent contrasts with other companies that manipulate user data for profit. While Apple is certainly not without criticism, its approach to privacy reflects a Kantian respect for users as ends in themselves, not just data points to be exploited. The ethical issues surrounding manipulation and deceit extend to social media and digital platforms as well. Algorithms designed to maximize engagement often exploit human psychology, keeping users hooked on content that may be divisive, misleading, or harmful. This manipulation reduces users to mere means for generating advertising revenue. Kant's philosophy demands a re-evaluation of such practices, calling for digital platforms to prioritize user well-being and informed consent over profit. Another example is corporate manipulation in labor practices. Companies that exploit workers by concealing job hazards, denying fair wages, or enforcing exploitative contracts treat employees as tools for profit. This behavior not only violates Kantian ethics, but also undermines the social fabric by creating environments of distrust and exploitation. Ethical leadership, as demonstrated by figures like Satya Nadella at Microsoft, focuses on transparency, respect for employees, and creating conditions where individuals can thrive as valued contributors rather than expendable resources. In personal relationships, Kant's insistence on honesty and respect for autonomy calls for genuine connections free from ulterior motives. People-pleasing, for instance, may seem like a kind act but often stems from a desire to manipulate perceptions or gain approval. This behavior can lead to toxic dynamics where neither party engages authentically. Kant would argue that building relationships based on mutual respect and true consent is the ethical path, as it allows both individuals to engage as ends in themselves, not tools for personal validation. Kant's philosophy also addresses coercion and manipulation in communication. When we communicate with an intention to deceive, coerce, or withhold critical information, we deny others their right to make informed decisions. This principle has profound implications for journalism, advertising, and even everyday interactions. Ethical communication, according to Kant, must be rooted in respect, truthfulness, and the goal of fostering mutual understanding. Anything less risks reducing individuals to mere means for achieving hidden agendas. Consider whistleblowers like Edward Snowden, who risked everything to reveal government surveillance programs that violated citizens' privacy. From a Kantian perspective, Snowden's actions can be seen as an attempt to respect the autonomy and dignity of citizens by ensuring they are fully informed of actions that impact their lives. This contrasts starkly with government practices that withhold or distort information for political gain, reducing citizens to tools for maintaining power. In sum, Kant's philosophy on manipulation, deceit, and consent challenges us to build ethical relationships and systems based on respect, transparency, and genuine engagement, whether in personal interactions, politics, business, or digital spaces. Treating others as ends in themselves, rather than as means to achieve our own goals, creates a more just and ethical society. By embracing honesty and mutual respect, we can move beyond the cycle of manipulation and deceit that undermines trust and corrodes social bonds. Kant's call to respect the autonomy and dignity of every individual offers a timeless guide for ethical living in an increasingly complex world. Immanuel Kant's philosophy on self-improvement as a moral duty offers a perspective that sets him apart from many other philosophers, who often focus predominantly on the pursuit of happiness or the avoidance of suffering. Kant believed that every individual has an ethical obligation to work continuously on bettering themselves, not merely for their own benefit, but because self-improvement is intrinsically tied to our duty to others and society as a whole. This idea challenges the self-centered pursuit of personal satisfaction and calls for a deeper, more meaningful engagement with our moral responsibilities. Unlike philosophies that prioritize personal happiness above all else, Kant's emphasis on self-improvement stems from his belief that we, as rational beings, must strive to fulfill our highest potential. To treat ourselves as anything less is to disrespect our own dignity and the gift of our rationality. This perspective resonates strongly in a world that often promotes quick fixes and instant gratification at the expense of long-term growth and genuine fulfillment. Consider the life of Mahatma Gandhi, a figure who exemplified Kant's call to self-improvement. Gandhi's journey was one of constant introspection and ethical striving. Despite facing numerous challenges and temptations, he remained committed to personal discipline and moral growth, believing that only by improving himself could he truly inspire others and affect change. His commitment to nonviolence and truth transformed not only his own character but also the lives of millions of people. Gandhi's legacy demonstrates how personal ethical development can ripple outward, creating positive change in the broader world. Kant's insistence on self-improvement as a duty also has profound implications for how we approach challenges and setbacks in life. It calls on us to view adversity as an opportunity for growth rather than a barrier to happiness. For example, Oprah Winfrey's life story is a testament to this principle. Born into poverty and facing significant personal trauma, Winfrey chose to focus on self-improvement through education, self-reflection, and perseverance. By continuously striving to better herself, she not only transformed her own life, but also became a beacon of hope and empowerment for countless others. Her journey underscores Kant's belief that true fulfillment comes from the pursuit of moral and personal growth, not from fleeting pleasures or external accolades. Kant's philosophy also extends to everyday behaviors and decisions. Simple acts like setting goals, learning new skills, or cultivating healthy habits are not merely personal endeavors, but moral obligations to maximize our potential. When we neglect self-improvement, we not only limit our own lives, but also fail to contribute meaningfully to the world around us. This idea contrasts sharply with the popular notion that self-care and self-improvement are purely personal choices. For Kant, the pursuit of self-betterment is a duty we owe to ourselves and society. Take, for example, the tech industry. Leaders like Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, are known for their commitment to lifelong learning and personal development. Pichai's rise from humble beginnings in India to leading one of the world's most influential companies is marked by a continuous effort to improve himself and adapt to new challenges. His focus on growth and innovation has not only benefited his career, but also shaped the technology that billions of people rely on daily. This kind of self-improvement aligns with Kant's vision of using one's abilities and knowledge to contribute to the betterment of humanity. At a more personal level, Kant's philosophy encourages us to confront our own shortcomings and strive to become better individuals. This process often requires difficult self-reflection and a willingness to change. Consider someone trapped in a monotonous job, feeling unfulfilled and directionless. If they choose to apply Kant's principles, they might recognize their duty to seek personal growth and meaningful engagement. This could mean acquiring new skills, pursuing a passion, or finding ways to make a positive impact in their community. By taking these steps, they respect themselves as rational beings capable of growth and demonstrate a commitment to improving the world around them. Kant's view on self-improvement also emphasizes the importance of integrity and moral character. It is not enough to simply achieve success or accumulate wealth. We must strive to live according to ethical principles and develop a strong moral compass. This aspect of Kant's philosophy is especially relevant in leadership. Ethical leaders who prioritize integrity and the well-being of others over personal gain exemplify Kant's ideal of self-improvement as a moral duty. Leaders like Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany, have earned global respect for their principled approach to governance and commitment to serving the greater good. Merkel's dedication to thoughtful decision-making and ethical leadership reflects a deep respect for Kant's call to personal and moral growth. In contrast, individuals who pursue success through unethical means or neglect their moral responsibilities undermine both themselves and society. Kant would argue that such behavior reflects a failure to respect oneself as a rational being with a duty to act ethically. The pursuit of self-improvement, therefore, is not about achieving perfection or avoiding mistakes. It is about striving to become the best version of oneself through continuous effort and ethical reflection. Kant's philosophy also challenges the idea that self-improvement is solely about personal gain. He believed that by improving ourselves, we become better equipped to serve others and contribute to a more just and compassionate society. This idea resonates with the work of figures like Malala Yousafzai, who has dedicated her life to advocating for girls' education and human rights. Despite facing violence and adversity, Malala continues to push herself to grow and learn, using her platform to inspire positive change. Her commitment to self-improvement and ethical action exemplifies Kant's belief that personal growth is a moral duty that extends beyond oneself. In conclusion, Kant's philosophy on self-improvement as a duty challenges us to view personal growth as an ethical obligation. By striving to become better individuals, we honor our own dignity and contribute to the greater good. This process requires discipline, self-reflection, and a commitment to living according to ethical principles. Whether through the example of historical figures like Gandhi and Mandela or contemporary leaders like Winfrey and Pichai, the pursuit of self-improvement offers a powerful path to personal fulfillment and positive social change. Kant's message is clear. True growth comes not from seeking happiness alone, but from the continuous effort to live a life of purpose, integrity, and ethical engagement. As we come to the end of our journey through Immanuel Kant's philosophy, it's clear that his ideas on discipline, ethical living, and self-improvement are more than just abstract theories. They're guiding principles that challenge us to be better, not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. Kant believed that living an ethical life means treating every person, including yourself, as an end, never merely as a means to an end. This call to respect, integrity, and relentless self-improvement is not easy, but it's one worth striving for. Think about it. How often do we allow ourselves to be distracted by fleeting pleasures or use others to serve our own interests? Kant's philosophy demands that we confront these tendencies, not with judgment, but with a commitment to growth and accountability. Whether it's breaking free from addiction, building authentic relationships, or leading with integrity, Kant challenges us to act with purpose and treat every moment as an opportunity for moral action. So, what will you do with this newfound insight? How will you apply these principles to your own life, your career, and your relationships? The answers won't come easily, but the journey itself is what matters. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Together, let's continue to explore the wisdom of great thinkers and apply it to the challenges we face today. Thank you for watching, and until next time, live thoughtfully, act with purpose, and keep striving to be the best version of yourself.